Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FTRL. It is week 4 of season 12. Season 12 already past the 1 quarter mark, and round 4 tonight is coming from the legendary Suzuka circuit in Japan. Joining me on comms tonight is FTRL Blue Flag. Good evening, Si.
Hello, good evening. How is everyone?
I am good. So, 3 races down, 3 different winners. It's a very open championship so far this season.
Yeah, nice to see an open championship.
Changes paying off quite nicely.
We've had open F1 and Div 1 titles in the past, but they've been exclusively between 2 or 3 drivers.
So I think we've got about 4 in the mix so far, haven't we? Obviously we've got our 3 race winners there, and with Aspect there is a bit of a moment coming through Dunlop. We've got Bran, F3, Danny and Casa G all sort of quite tightly bunched at the top. So 3 are race winners, and Casa G has been quite consistently at the front. Unfortunately he is missing this week, so he is going to potentially lose a little bit of ground to his title rivals. With a couple of people away, we've got a couple of ringers in tonight. Obviously everybody recognise Lennon, who is in the McLaren in place of Casa G, and we've also got an FTRL stalwart and a man who's very good at talking to girls. Matt Cause is back in FTRL for 1 week only in the Renault. It's always nice to see Matt Cause back.
Yep, lock up your mothers, daughters, sisters, grannies, whatever.
Because he will talk to them. That is his best feature.
No kidding.
No kidding indeed, right. So, Suzuka then, quite obviously a very different layout, and it's the unique figure of 8 layout. How do you feel about Suzuka as a circuit?
Well, it's definitely one of the most iconic on the grid. As you say, it's got that unique figure of 8. Normally we get to see close, interesting racing, some ballsy overtakes if people feel brave down into 130R. And yeah, this year's game's thrown up a unique challenge with the sleeping policeman at the final corner. A rather large speed bump.
Indeed, so we'll board with Aspect, and as he comes around to the final corner, we'll see what kind of line he takes, if he risks going over it or kills himself, or if he goes around the outside of it. But yeah, there's a massive bump on exit as you come past the pit lane entrance, so keep an eye out for that. Into the hairpin he comes. Aspect's not really kicked on so far this season. He's had a couple of poor qualifying sessions, but spirited driving Canada from the back, but not quite what we expected from last season's F2 runner-up. Maybe is this the week he maybe comes back to the fore?
I'd like to hope so. I mean, like you say, last season I think it was a bit of maybe a breakout or a revelation of a season for him, and yeah, he's just not hit those heights yet. So yeah, fingers crossed, tonight's the night.
Into the final chicane. His teammate is currently set for the first pole position. Here he comes in. Let's see, there's the big bump. Yeah, he goes around the outside to get over the worst of it, but you see the car just kick up a little bit, and he drops himself into P2, just a tenth behind his teammates. That's a good start there from Aspect. Right, let's go pick up Mr. Matt Cause. He's on a lap out behind his teammate. His teammate was very, very happy to have him as his teammate this week, Pagani.
F3's just slotted himself into P3. He almost wasn't racing tonight. He's not been feeling particularly well, but onto the podium, apparently managed to change his mind.
Yes, a few people coming in the chat. Good evening, Mikey H. Gents from him, alone in the chat as well as on the track. Of course, has abandoned his lap, so he's into the pits. Let's pick up.
Well, we did speak about Aspect. It's currently a Haas 1-2.
As Hijack comes around to the end of the lap, he appears to have validated this lap. I'm liking this new graphic that sort of tells me. Oh, Hijack, yeah, he is bailed out into the pits as winner last time out. FTRL Danny goes pole position by 2/10. We all know him to be very good in the wet, but he is he's really having a standout season so far. Obviously, win last time out with the penalty. He managed to just do enough to pip Casa G. pole position for the second race running. Just noticed there as the hijack came into the pits there, the pit lane seems to be suffering a little bit of distortion, shall we say. It seems slightly wavy down the pit lane. Slight issue with the game there, but never mind. So pick up one of Team Meow. We've got the Forever Cats now, so he comes around Dunlop. The track is gone red, so I wonder if he's invalidated his lap already. In fact, yeah, he didn't really attack. In fact, he's in no ERS, so he is not currently flying. We've got Peteman in the chat there. Hashtag Team Matt Cause. Let's see. Dane Train getting a little bit of support from the FTRL world. Max supporting Hijacked. Got hijacked last season, sorry. It was last year actually. Got a rather too good a getaway last season. So hopefully he'll remember to wait for all 5 lights to go out before he sets off this time around.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I know that did definitely please onto the podium. He says it was worth it just for that alone. So last, we've got Co-Andy just starting a lap then. Everybody else either in the pits, a couple on their way back out again. Andy, a great drive last week, came from the back of the grid, finished up P5 after the penalty systems were sorted out. I say Andy just does what Andy does best, he just cruises under the radar and just picks up solid results week after week, doesn't he? So hopefully he'll get a better stab at the qualifying, and he'll be somewhere at the sharp end, and he can get there's a big moment there coming out of the second Degner. So he wasn't sure he'd be back in time, but he is in qualifying. Looking very lively so far. Back end stepping out as he got on the power of the hairpin. This comes into Spoon. Nicely on the apex, out onto the curb. Lennon can't wait to crash out on top of the S section, so we shall see if that reality becomes true. 330R. Max Rom is on holiday this week, I believe. If you're wondering why he's not here. And Co-Andy slots himself into P8.
Isn't he sliding down a snowy mountain or something this week?
I do believe, yes, he is face planting and sliding down a mountain on his face. Indeed. So, obviously there was a new update that came out Wednesday last week, which has triggered the safety cars and virtual safety cars to be a little bit more prominent, shall we say. There's quite a lot of them last week in our race. In fact, it's probably about, I think we had about half the race of the virtual safety car, didn't we?
Yeah, what I found is that VS is a tad too sensitive.
Yes, and so the accidents, I say Spa's a bit of one of those tracks where you are going to have big accidents, and I think a lot of them were at Eau Rouge and Radion, so to be fair to the game, they probably did warrant something. So let's see this week, because I don't think we'll have quite so many accidents this week, fingers crossed, touch wood. But when we've got the FTRL Cats on the grid, anything can happen. He's not known for being shy about making moves.
Well, Rom may be on an Alp, but he is still in the chat.
He's using Rom. I agree, Max, I agree. So while we were chatting, we've now got a Red Bull 1-2. City Posh Blue has popped himself with the P2 and Hijacked has popped himself P3. So 3 Red Bull liveried cars, currently 1, 2 and 3.
We've got FTRL Cat off at Dunlop, which is where Lennon predicted he would end up.
Looks like he can carry on though. That's Nexus Aspect going around to the end of his lap. Does he improve his time? He's just starting on that. Yes, he's down, so yeah, that's him finished. As next Iceman splits the Red Bulls, goes in P2, and IRL Neon pops himself into P4. As F3 pops himself into
second
P5.
sector for TNR.
Where is he? There he is in the red ball, coming out of the final corner. This is his first line lap, and he goes P10 though. So half a second off. Putting in the chat, hashtag Team Ravers, hashtag Darts Legends. Ravers has been indulging himself in darts as another FTRL legend, Panda, pops himself onto pole position. So the Pink Panda and the Pink Panther takes pole position away from FTRL Danny. So another one had a good run last week. Unfortunately, I think he picked up some wing damage in his battle for third place with F3. They kind of put pay to a strong result, but still the top 7 I think he ended up with. And he's putting himself in a good position to battle for the win this week. Matt Cause on an lap on the medium tyre. So far everybody's lap times on the soft. So what can Matt Cause do with his second run? Do we have anybody on a flying lap? Looks like everybody's on their way in, a few on the way out. Pagani's not confident about having several cats and a Matt Cause on track at the same time, so he's going to hang down the back. Good confidence in his teammate there. I shall see if that comes to fruition. So, on the for a few people to come around to start a lap. Matt Cause is on a lap now, so let's pick him up again. So, current running order as Pagani has retired from the session. Has he gone off on track? Got a yellow flag in
Danny.
Danny fights back on his second lap on that set of tyres, so he went for another flyer.
First man into the 27s.
Big jump there, so he was on 28.2 and he's now on to 27.8. Car's just coming around the spoon. Paul Pagani's retired in pit lane. He wants no part of turn 1. A very brave decision, or a very wise decision, shall I say. It is a very narrow part of the track, and when you've got 20 or 19 cars bombing into there, that's very easy to lose your wing. Matt Cause goes P15 on the mediums. Pick up Bran, who's currently on a flying lap, down to P8 at the moment, but he is 36 thousandths, now 2/10 up, 2.5 tenths up in this sector. This should see him improve. It could put him P2 or P3. What kind of final sector does he have? There's that big bump, drives for the line, and he goes P2. Not quite into the 27s, but 28.1. And currently P2 in the championship. Heads his title rival, F3, who's currently down in P7. Steady Posh on a new flying lap. She comes up to the hairpin. 32 thousandths down at the split. Nope, he's gone very wide there. And that has invalidated his lap, so he's gone up at the spoon.
Oh.
And then there's a huge kick of oversteer as he comes out of spoon. Puts himself in the wall. The ever excitable FTRL Cat on a flying lap as well now. Let's pick him up now as he comes down to spoon as well. Got a car in front of him. It's getting a bit of dirty air. Can't quite see who it is. I think it's possibly one of the Has. No, maybe not. No, it is a Has. That would be Bran on his in lap. Into the final chicane he comes. There's the curves nicely. He has backed out and then goes for an overtake into pit lane. Perhaps a little bit unhappy there with Brown as he came around. Into the final 2 minutes of the session, current running with Danny on pole from Bran with Panda P3, next is Iceman P4, City Posh is P5, Neon P6, F3, Hijacked, Aspect and T Smith round out of the top 10. Cat has retired from the session then, so Cat starting down the back with Pagani. That'll please Pagani no end. Danny on and out like we've got. T Smith seems to be on a flyer, so let's pick him up.
He's on a slow lap.
Yeah, he's backed out of it. He's had a moment, perhaps he's invalidated, so I'm liking this having this track map here, because now you can see when people have invalidated. At least that fix is nice. Pagani is not moving off the line apparently. Sod that. So Brown has retired on the session. He's not going out again, or has he had an accident on a lap? I think he was on.
He's in pit lane.
Okay, so he's not running again. Nope.
Oh, T. Smith
with a huge wobble coming out of that bump.
By the bump.
That's not exactly the dream start to your flying lap. And let's see how he gets on. So into the first couple of corners. Studies all curve on the exit. Oh, he's very wide there. Through the S's. Comes up to the sector 1, he's 7/10 down. I don't think he's going to be improving. No, he's gone up into the gravel. So that is the end of that lap. And here have we got? So let's pick up current pole sitter. Danny coming into turn 1. And on his way. Just crosses the line and he'll start P15. Hijack's finished. P9. It's very tight there, so 4th place on a 28.349, all the way down to Hijacked and P9 on a 28.4. That's 6 cars covered by 1/10 of a second. Very tightly bunched as IRL Neon goes P2. That demotes Bran off the front row of the grid. Panda stays P4, Aspect stays P5. Onto the podium has not improved. Oh, Danny there just caught the curb, I think. Coming around Spoon. His teammate ahead of him. Next Iceman goes P3 and F3 goes P4. He's jumped his title rival. Danny is 1.5 tenths up. He's got one of the missing points, getting out of the gravel out of the way. City Posh comes round. Does he improve? He does not. Danny does improve though. To further extend that gap. Colandy's still on the lap.
Coasting in.
Indeed. So that is your lot. And Danny, after all, Danny takes his second pole position in a row. Red Bull Man will start the Suzuka race on P1, and he's joined by IRL Neon in the Mercedes. His best start of the season. Next is Iceman, also having his best start of the season though. We've got FTRL Zom is in the chat now. Good evening, Zom. He's currently living the luxury life in a hotel in Wales somewhere with free bar, I believe. What a horrible, horrible existence you lead, Zom.
Indeed.
Zom in with an early prediction of big pieces for the win. Dutch for P2 and Sam Saunders for P3. So the grid for round 4 of the championship is FTRL Danny going off pole position ahead of IRL Neon. Nexus Iceman in the McLaren will go off P3 ahead of current championship leader F3. Bran, his title rival, starts P5 alongside FTRL Panda with TNR ZE3 in P7. Nexus Aspect starting P8. Second Red Bull of City Posh Blue is P9, and Matt Kors managed to sneak a lap in there and he will be P10 on his one-off outing. And Coandy is the first driver with the free tyre choice. So as they start the formation, that we'll see how the remaining drivers, or which tyres they go for. So I think this is a pretty standard one-stop soft to medium race, strategy-wise.
Yeah, I think it should be. Given that most of the guys have opted to do a lap on the softs.
So let's get some podium predictions in the chat then, boys. Let's see what you think, and while we wait for some of the viewers to pick their top 3, what about our top 3s? What do we think from this one, Si?
I think we are going to get our first repeat winner of the season. I think Danny's going to win it. I think Bran is going to come through for P2 and a Pink Panda for P3.
So, there we go. I'm inclined to agree. I think Danny will be the victor. He's in good form at the moment this season. I think F3 for P2. And I think Iceman is going to be P3. Yes, Aaron, they've got a new option to put comments on, so thought we'd use it. Max reckons Zom is going to win from Hijacked, and then I'm going to be P3. You're damn right I am, Max. Although you're a day ahead of yourself, that's tomorrow. I'll be P3. Hopefully. We shall see.
I mean, Max has managed to demote Hijacked.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how Jack's going to feel about that.
Well, we shall soon find out. So, let's run down the grid then. FTRL Danny is on pole. Let's get the tyres up so we can see who's wearing what. Danny on pole position, second one in a row and winner last time out. He heads IRL Neon, joining him on the front row of the Mercedes. Nexus Iceman goes off P3 in the McLaren, ahead of current championship leader F3. Brand starts P5 in the lead Has, right behind his title rival with FTRL Panda showing row 3. TNR ZE3 is P7 ahead of Nexus Aspects with the second Red Bull City Posh in P9 and Matt Kors starting P10. Of the drivers with the free tyre choice, Coandy is P11 and he starts on the medium tyre alongside Hijacked, who's on the softs, so he's going to be looking to get a good start. Lennon in the McLaren is on the medium tyres, with T. Smith in the second racing point, also on the mediums in 14th. Onto the podium on the softs, we'll start P15 alongside Nexus Cats in the Ferrari on the medium. They'll be hoping there won't be a coming together this week. Brutus Beer is P17, also starts on the mediums alongside Pagani, another medium shod runner, and FTRL Cat at the back in the Ferrari, and he is starting on the softs. So just waiting for Cats to come round. That's an awful camera view. Why would you do that to me? So I've got a camera view of the grid, but I can't see any of the cars. Fantastic, well done everybody. There we go. Right, we've got 4 laps, we've got 5 laps. I think Hijack waited, well done. Everybody is away. It's a good start from Brad, he's already up the inside of F3. Trying to get past Iceman as well. Oh, there's contact. I think he's held it together. He is indeed. F3 down 2, he's down to P6 and he's got ZE3 up the inside, he gets back P5. Onto the podium, dropped to the back as he gone round. He's a little bit off the pack, I think there was contact. It looks like onto the podium has, unfortunately, for the 4th race in a row, had contact. FTRL Cat up 5 places already. I mean, like 4, he's just been repassed by T. Smith.
Oh, it is Cat. By the Alpha Ferrari.
Oh no, Team Meow has gone wrong. He's destroyed a polystyrene marker board. Having picked up fire, he's really lit up the tyres there. That's not going to do them any good. FTRL Cat's troubled season continues. Oh, he's having a big moment there. Yeah, he's cooked his rear tyres. He's off again at the hairpin. Apparently, I have word that it was Katamise who tipped onto the podium into a spin. He's recovered now. Got his tyres cooled down and he's on his way. He's somewhere behind. FTRL Danny though gets the perfect start and he leads lap 1. It says he has a 2.1 second gap now. There we go, that runs 2/10. There we go, it's more like it. So at the end of lap 1 then, FTRL Danny leads.
Matt Cause is making moves.
Cause is indeed.
He's got Panda through turn 1.
Cause up to P8. So running order at the end of lap 1. FTRL Danny leads. IRL Neon and Nexus Iceman have hung on to their starting positions. Bran has leapfrogged his title rival into P4 with F3 down to P5. Aspect is up 2 positions to the P6 with TNR staying where he is. Matt Cause up 2. And we've got Panda down 3 in P9 and City Posh down 1 into P10. Hijacked, Co-Andy, Lennon, T. Smith, Brutus, Pagani, Cats onto the podium and Cat running order and actual Cat in the pits. Picked up some wing damage and he is on his way again. So FTRL Danny, fresh off the back of his first victory of the season, is now trying to stretch away. Got a yellow flag in sector 2.
I think that was Brutus going the wrong way.
Having a bit of a troubled season so far. Danny with the fastest lap, he's got that lead up to 0.8 of a second over IRL Neon, and he's managed to hold on to P2. Nexus Iceman in P3 has got Bran and F3 very tightly up behind him, so he's the man currently under threat. Danny and IRL Neon making good their escape. DRS now activated. Danny currently 1.2 seconds ahead, so he has out of DRS range at the moment. And City Posh just goes past Panda for P9. He's within the DRS range of IRL Neon, so hang on to that, which should help him in his defence from Bran, although he has now just slipped outside of that.
Panda's lost another place to City Posh Blue on this lap.
Panda going backwards at the early stage. Bran is now very tightly under the rear wing of Iceman. There at the back straight. Up towards 130R. Not quite close enough this time. Is he going to have a look into the chicane? Fakes to the inside. Not yet. I'll try and get a good run. And the bump. See how wide all the drivers go then. Is he going to be close enough to have a look into turn 1? He's got the DRS open. Gaining, gaining, gaining. Up to the inside. And through he goes, and Bran is up onto the podium. Iceman's defence is breached. He's down to P4, F3 behind him now. Bit of a gap back then to the second of the Has and P6, Aspect up 2. Here's a good start. He's got a bit of a gap to TNR ZE3. And behind him we've got the yellow sector 1. Is that Lennon's going backwards down the order? I think Lennon's had a moment.
Yellow flag sector 1.
Lennon's
McLaren way off the back of the pack.
Lennon is off the track.
Somewhere through the S's, Panda's lost another place to hijacked, and that is where Panda's really struggling at the moment, is through that first sector.
Yeah, now he's got his fellow admin Andy up behind him. And he's not dropped off the back of hijacked yet, so he's also got his teammate on the back of this train now, T. Smith there. This mini FTRL train going on. Hijacked out ahead of it. Hijacked a little bit deep there into the chicane. And Panda's already got a run on him. And Panda had a bit of a moment over the bump there, I think. The DRS though. Hijack goes defensive. Panda to the outside, always on the grass. And over the curb as well. Just manages to hold off Andy, or does he? Andy on the outside. Squeezes onto the grass. Hangs onto the position. Let's let Hijack get away a little bit. So 5 laps in, and FTRL Danny, our pole sitter, leads the way. 1.7 seconds over IRL Neon, who's now got Bran up into P3 as City Posh there, I think, kicks up some dirt going under the bridge. It's Iceman hanging onto the back of Bran, and he's bringing F3 with him, so the final podium place is still up for grabs. That cause also very close on the back of ZE3. So come around the spoon. I've already been informed, unfortunately, we cannot speak to Matt Cause because he has lost his microphone in moving house. So, ladies, you will be disappointed as he comes up the inside into 130R. That is a good overtake. And ZE3 picks up a penalty for his troubles after he ran a bit wide there. Matt Cause down the inside. And we'll now have DRS though down the start-finish straight. He also needs to watch his rear mirror because he's got City Posh, and Hijacked has also joined the back of this train. So the top 11 are all on the soft tyres. Coandy is the leading runner on the mediums, ahead of T. Smith and Pagani. So we've got onto the podium as well. We've literally got 5 admins in a row. 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. Now it looks as if Bran has got the magnets on the back of IRL Neon. He's closed that gap to half a second, and he's bringing Iceman and F3 with him. So the battle for the final step of the podium is now a battle for the second step on the podium. Danny, 2.1 seconds ahead now, and merrily on his way. Posh very close to the back of ZE3. Panda starting to join this train again. So we've got Matt Core, ZE3, City Posh, looking very racy through 130R. He's going to the outside for the chicane. Thinks better of it. Sets himself up for a run down the straight. Yellow flag
Lennon's off
one.
at Dunlop again.
He did say he would go off at the top of the S section. Here comes City Posh on ZE3. Squeezes into the pit wall. City Posh gets down the inside and takes P8. Although ZE3 try to run around the outside. No. Cedes the position. But a Red Bull car in front of him and a Red Bull car behind him as Hijacked is in this.
Oh, City Posh has had a wobble.
Yes, indeed, and he's got ZE3 and Hijacked. Oh,
Matt Cause is round.
Oh, Matt Cause has gone round. Hijacked has a moment. Oh, and the Williams has gone round as well. I think Coandy's had a moment. Did he clip Matt Cause's car? Going quite slowly at the moment. I think he's got some wing damage. So did he clip? Yeah, he has. He's lost. But he's lost half. Yeah, his end panel later's gone. So Andy definitely got some damage there. Did he clip Matt Caw's spun car?
Yeah, I was on board with ZE3 as that happened, and yeah, how ZE3 didn't collect that Renault, I have no idea.
Well, that's quite ironic because last season in the Renault I clipped ZE3 having spun at Dunlop, so fate smiles more favourably on him than it did me apparently. Right, so ZE3 in the pits. Has he picked up some damage in that, or is he just making a pit stop? Let's have a look. Are you going for a wing change? Nope, just a straightforward tyre stop. So he's the first to blink. Co-Andy in the pits with wing damage. Matt Caw's, I think, survived with his wing intact, despite the spin. And while we've been watching that, we have a new P2. Bran has dispatched IRL Neon. He is now setting off in pursuit of our race leader. Currently following Lennon's example and going on to the hard tyres, so he's trying not to stop again. Not predicting a safety car, or virtual safety car to help him out. Matt Caw's, he takes P13 from Brutus, so the Brutus has just had it back from him. Some good scrap going on here. So it's quite an easy place to lose the car at Dunlop there. I think if you clip a curve on the inside it can definitely send you around, or if you run a little bit wide and just pick up the grass. Bran, Iron Neon and F3 are pitting. So second, third and fifth into the pits.
The racing points are running very closely together, both from different tyre strategies.
Iron Neon has jumped Bran in the pits. He's getting out ahead of him, so the Mercedes crew there have jumped Iron Neon back ahead of Bran. Right there from the boys from Brackley. Got another flag in sector 1. Oh, it's one of it's T. Smith. He's gone round at Dunlop now as well. It's going again. He's got his wing intact. Oh dear me, who was that? That was Brutus almost going to the back there of T. Smith. Coming through second Dagnet. And he's got Matt Caw's all over him. Matt Caw's does now have some wing damage. If it's in that incident.
Brand's got past Neon. Side by side on the run down to Spoon.
Oh, still on the inside. Oh, that's close. Oh, that's close. Brand gets it done though into Spoon. That's a great overtake. We've got a proper train going on now. Race leader into the pits. Panda into the pits as well. Aspect and City Posh and Hijacked have all carried on though. So they are now your top three. Gunman comes through into P4, just ahead of erstwhile race leader Danny. Onto the medium tyres. He's got several cars in between himself.
Just about stayed ahead of Nexus Iceman then.
Iceman has dropped back in ahead of F3 there as well, so those four back where they are. Danny trying to get up the inside of Pagani. Pagani doesn't fight it too hard. Oh, but Danny goes off. In between the Degners, gets away with it. But crucially for him, he's now got Pagani, T. Smith onto the podium, Brutus in between himself and Bran, who was P2. Bran trying to go around the outside of Brutus at the hairpin. And they're going to let Iron Neon, Brutus' teammate, back at him. So Brutus is not Ceding the position to Bran. Bran's going to have to work for it. Round the outside. Brutus squeezes him off. Where is IRL Neon? He's not close enough to take advantage. Brutus there, a bit of kick of oversteer as he gets on the power. Out of Spoon. Got Bran right up behind him again. Doesn't fancy it into 130R. TNR, oh sorry, onto the podium. They're very slow through 130R. That's suddenly bottled everybody up. Brutus continues to defend Bran around the outside. He now has the inside. As they come out the final corner. Oh, gets on the bump there. But this train of cars. Brutus then one of the guys who started on the medium tyres as
Bran's found a way through.
And Bran gets it done. So will Brutus cede a position to his teammate? A little bit easier. The answer is no. Not really an opportunity there. Oh, he's a little bit wide. Iron thinks about it. Brutus does not open the door.
Bran's on the outside from the podium through the Degners.
No, he's not got it done though. Defending hard. Oh, I think this is the pass there. Neon up the inside as F3 gets Iceman into the hairpin as well. So 2 overtakes done. Let's release IRL Neon, although Brutus coming back at him. Bran up the inside of... onto the podium coming out. Spoon, but the podium continues to fight it.
Yep, he has a reputation to protect. He's doing
Back
his
in
best
front.
to uphold it.
Onto the bus. Is in Japan. Oh, Bran locks a wheel there. Almost went into the back of Connor. Connor into the pits. I think Bran just touched him. And that's let Neon up the inside.
Down.
DRS as well. They've both got DRS. Bran squeezing Neon tight. Up to the pit wall. Brutus to the outside for 3 wide. Do not advise Bran out onto the curbs. Gets away with it though, and Neon is through. Brutus continuing to hold back F3 and Iceman. It's all going off. Meanwhile, Danny, who has just picked his way through, he's 10 seconds off Aspect, who continues to run on the soft tyre that he started with. He is now about 8 seconds ahead of these two squabbling over what should become P2 once Aspect, Pagani, T. Smith finally stop. F3 up the inside of Brutus into the hairpin, but Brutus fights back on exit. You see the gap now that IRL Neon and Bran have opened up. And these guys are now being joined by City Posh in the second Red Bull. And also bringing Panda with him. There's Eddie 3 and Hijacked. So this train's about to get even bigger.
Bran's having a look into the chicane.
Not yet. DRS. Down to the inside. That should be an easy overtake. Oh, but that's Aspect coming out the pits right in front of this train. F3 clears him, but Aspect is cleared next is Iceman. So another demon stint on the soft tyres has put Aspect right into this battle for the pole. He's up the inside of F3.
Wide.
But he's now got the inside for Dunlop. Just holds him off for now. Fantastic battle. Current race leader Danny, 6 seconds ahead of Pagani, who's currently P2. Look at P. Smith up behind him, and then we've got literally everybody else.
That's a hell of a bottleneck at the hairpin.
It's a huge queue. It's all backed up behind Brutus. Neon and Bran are now 2.2 seconds up the road. You've got Brutus, F3, Aspect, Iceman, City Posh, TNR, Hijacked, Panda in a like 5th to 13th. This is the biggest FTRL train I've ever seen. F3 a bit wide coming out of Spoon. Aspect has a bit of a run. Close enough into 130R this time. Looking racy. Oh. TNR up the inside of Hijacked. Hijacked fights back. Watch the bump. Hijack gets it done. And the Panda has DRS.
It's got to be said, Brutus is doing rather well in amongst this lot. He hasn't pitted yet.
As indeed, we join the battle for P2, the battle of the admins. Guy leading T Smith. I imagine these two are just cruising around, not holding each other up. Try and see where they're going to fall back in and they make their pit stops. And they have got Bran quite quickly closing on them. He has dispatched of FTRL Neon now. But up front, Danny is 8.8 seconds ahead of Pagani and a further 2 seconds ahead of Bran. So that 10-second lead he'll have another pit stop shakeout.
Yeah, when all the pit stops started, he only had I think it was like a 3 or 4 second lead.
I think he got that lap extra he ran. T Smith taking P2 into 130R. Yeah, he came out in clear air while Bran FTRL Neon.
Neon had their fight amongst Brutus. There's 2 cars off at 130R. Yep. That's Brutus.
Aspect as well, I think, is it? Oh, Aspect, no. Aspect's great stint. Oh. Brutus there just waiting for Aspect to go back through. Brutus finally pits. And that causes a penalty. After his early race pace, he's down 15th at the moment. Brutus is on his way. That's a shame there for Aspect. That was a great strategy there. So running 11 laps on those soft tyres, putting himself right in the mix for a podium. Fortunately, now he's dropped out of contention for that at least.
Pagani and T Smith now have Bran for company.
Indeed. T Smith looking races, they're coming to spoon. And looks at the inside, Pagani gives him room. Bran now fancies a bit of this as well. He's going to get boxed in there, is he? Wheel to wheel. Oh, T Smith and Bran touch. Oh, the 3 wide. Oh, the 3 wide into 130R. Oh, Pagani backs out of it. Bran and T Smith run off.
Says I'm having none of that.
FTRL Neon's back in the fight now as well. Pagani fighting with Neon. Is he boxing this lap? No, he's going on again. T Smith goes defensive into 1. Bran to the inside. Does he get it done? He does indeed. T Smith fights around the outside. Bran up into P2. And the gap is now 12.1 seconds. FTRL Danny in a class of his own today. Let's pick up the race leader. He's just coming through the second Degner. Despite that moment when he was overtaking Pagani, when he went off between the Degners, Danny's having a very comfortable evening's race. 11 laps to go, and a 12-second lead. All this squabbling with T Smith and Pagani has brought F3 and Nexus Iceman and City Posh and Hijacked and Panda and ZE3 into the train. So T Smith 1.1 seconds off the back of Bran, but he's got Pagani and FTRL Neon right behind him. F3 rapidly closing as well. Iceman and City Posh are there. Hijacked within a second, as is Panda. And it's 1.6 seconds back to TNR. Who is now the bottleneck? It's T Smith and Pagani again. Neon to the outside of Pagani. Tries to go around the outside of T. Smith as well. He gets the one position, he's looking to P4. Oh, T. Smith's wide there, and he's off the track. Through goes Pagani, through goes F3, through goes Iceman. City Posh also up the inside as well. I think T. Smith's tyres have gone. Here comes Hijacked up the inside. T. Smith just hold him off for now. I think his tyres are about cried enough. Oh, he's off there coming out the Degner. That's got Hijacked and in second of the Racing Points Panda. The IRL Neon has been released. We're going now the cork in the bottle. Fourth down to P11. Hijacked passes T. Smith coming into Spoon. Coming out of Spoon, sorry. See there at the bottom of the picture. Versus Pagani for the second week in a row. Pagani is resolute in his defence. Does that open the door for Iceman to have a look up the inside of F3? Not yet. Pagani pits. He does. Oh, there's contact there. And that's compromised F3. He's got Iceman at the inside. City Posh trying to make it 3 wide. Hijacked right behind him as well. Iceman passes F3. City Posh stays where he is. Panda watching on from behind. T. Smith also pitting, so the 2 medium shod runners boxing. And the last 2 to make their first and only stop. Alright, so now everything's sorted itself out. FTRL Danny, 12.6 seconds in the lead. 9 laps to go. Can't see him being caught, all things considered. Same Mike in the chat there. Apart from the runaway leader, this is one hell of a race. I'm inclined to agree. There is so much going on. Everything now just starting to settle down a little bit. Brand now clear of IRL Neon by about 3.5 seconds, and he is 1.6 ahead of Iceman. So the podium positions looking fairly settled for the moment. The battle is on for P4. Iceman, who just managed to leapfrog F3 last time around, as Pagani released this train. F3 strike back this time around. Got the DRS. It's down the inside into 1. That's a very easy move. F3 retakes P4. Oh, Hijack's gone round at turn 1, just about holds it together, just a half slide, but he's lost the place to TNRZE3. And just clip the grass on turning there, I carried a little bit too much speed. That drops him down to P9.
On the podium and Matt Coors getting reacquainted with one another.
Yeah, I just saw they were very close together. Matt Coors just on the grass of the Degners as he turned in, just kicked up the F3 is trying to close down on IRL Neon for that final podium place. Getting now 1.1 seconds, he's just outside DRS range. Next Iceman has got City Posh all over his rear wing. And then the FTRL Panda just keeping a watching brief behind them. Big movers, so we've got Brown up 3 places, City Posh up 3 places, Hijacked up 3, onto the podium's up 4, Pagani up 5, Big losers.
The Mac calls onto the podium battles brought Pagani right back into this.
Pagani goes past his teammate, who then
Almost
takes it back again. Also bringing T. Smith into this as well.
F3's latched into the back of Neon as well now. He's within DRS.
Oh, that goes on the grass. Oh, and again.
And up.
Oh, he's off.
And he's out.
Matt Cause is returned to FTRL, ends in the wall, and brings out the virtual safety car. That is forward off track. I don't think we'll see a full safety car. Matt Cause must have just seen some attractive lady in the crowd at that part of the circuit that he needed to go talk to right now. Oh, Danny has pitted and has picked up a 5-second penalty.
Now, that wasn't in the script.
It was not. Now, that's great. Is anybody else going to take the opportunity? Bran does not pit. So Bran has inherited the lead. Danny comes out in P2. And we've now got a 5-second penalty and a 5-second gap to close up.
And there's a Mercedes gone into the back of Danny.
And he's damaged his wing as well. No, that's not gone. So something's happened before. So we go back racing.
Gone green.
Iceman straight on the attack, goes around the outside. Neon's race, he's just missed out on the podium. Nickel City Posh up the inside. Big wing damage there. I've seen this happen though, like I think it happened to... Oh, it's off the circuit. Pando into the back of it goes ZE3. That's wing damage for him. Neon fighting that car. Needs to get out of the way, I think, a little bit here. That's unfortunately ruined his race. What happened to me last week? I think Max overtook me under the virtual safety car, and because I was obviously slowing down for the Delta, and he just went storming off.
ZE3 with wing damage. Hijack's gone up the inside of him at Spoon. Now, I wonder if Danny got bored and just thought, you know what, I've just fancy something to do.
Well, yellow flag in sector 1. We've got Ferrari round. That's Katz has gone round by the look of it. On his way again. FTRL Cat has just come out in front of Danny, who is rapidly closing on Bran, but I don't think he's catching quickly enough. He's still coming, but he's now got to get there, get past, and clear off to the tune of 5 seconds. He's pushing that right out onto the edge.
Bran, I know, has one 3-second penalty that I've seen.
So that could make it interesting. Will Danny be on the radio to Jeff to find that information out? Gap is down to 2.6 seconds, so he is coming. Neon pits and returns to the track in P14, just ahead of his teammate. That's all gone a little bit wrong for the Mercedes man. All this carnage just put Pagani into the points. He's currently running P10, although he's got T. Smith right on his rear wing. ZE3 picks up a penalty. And he's got the gap down to 2.0 seconds now. He's only got 5 laps to get there and get past. So what can he do? 2 seconds now. And Danny made that decision. He didn't need to make that pit stop unless he thought he was tight on tyres. Strange decision. You can understand the reason. If you can get away with it, you would do, but
I can't believe he was having tyre problems, because didn't he come in a lap later than
he did, yeah.
Bran and all the rest?
So yeah, maybe you just thought, get on fresh tyres, see you at home. Unfortunately though, you need to brake for the line, Danny.
Maybe he's after maximum points.
Maybe he's got pole position. Is he after fastest lap?
He's got pole. But yeah, now he's got the job of overtaking Bran and getting that first place back.
And the gap is down to 1.3, so he is absolutely flying. Imagine there was some blue air in his room when that happened. So currently the top three are the race winners so far this season, so they're squabbling it over to be the first repeat winner. And he did it on penalties. He's been 7/10. He's in DRS range. Probably not close enough this lap. There's the fastest lap. 30.4. He's right there now. City Posh up the inside of, from the outside of Iceman in turn 1. Not quite there. Panda now there as well. We've got a big battle going on for P4. Cat has retired from the race. Drops it there in the S section and is up on the left side of the circuit. Not having a good start to season 12 Cat, unfortunately. Hopefully he'll be back next time out. Right there, and then Danny right with Bran. I think it's a question of when he takes the lead back, not if.
Yeah, I don't think Bran's going to have anything to say about it when Danny does make the move. Bran will just be hoping to stick within 2 seconds of Danny.
Danny at the inside. Oh, Bran fights it on the outside. Danny goes into the chicane, up the inside. But that will give Bran DRS. Not quite sure he's thought that one through properly, but I'm sure Danny knows what he's doing.
Danny was behind in the detection point.
Yeah. So he is, yeah, so he gets it done. Right, he's now got 3 laps to run away as fast as he can.
Meanwhile, Panda right on the back of City Posh.
Already got that second gap. Look at that. Danny's absolutely flying away. Purple first sector. He's pushing. Does he need 3? Does he need 5 seconds, or does he just need 2? We will find out in about 2.5 laps time. Bran's going to do everything he can to stay with him. Drop back and pick this battle up then. So we've got F3 currently holding on to the final podium place. He's got a second gap over Iceman. City Posh and Panda right behind him, like you say. So podium not yet decided. Racy. I think that car's come back to him now. So struggling a bit in the early stages, but good fight back, stuck with it.
It's looking much better on this set of tyres, it's got to be said.
It's really bad that can happen. I think I had that last season where your car was just awful on one set of tyres, and then you go on the harder compound, in this case the medium, and suddenly your car just comes to you, and it's a very weird sensation. You think on the soft tyre you'd be flying, but not always the case. The lead is 2 seconds, so Danny has got that 2-second gap that he might need if Bran does have a penalty. Next, Iceman is closing on F3. Now it's under a second. We're on the penultimate lap of the race.
Pagani and T. Smith swapping places over that final point position.
Seconds now the lead for Danny over Bran. So if Bran does have a penalty, that is enough. To keep on pushing. Iceman has just fallen away a little bit from F3. Still watching his mirrors. City Posh and Panda are there, hijacked. A couple of seconds behind them, just keeping a watching brief. He'll pick up any pieces should anybody come to blows. We start the final lap of the race.
Lennon's name just popped up in the bottom corner to take the fastest lap.
He's just been in for a fresh set of softs. Danny, all that enraged Danny. In his final lap, the gap is 2.9 seconds.
Panda and City Posh both having identical spins in the middle of the S section.
Back up again. This is Iceman just inching away. City Posh now coming back at him. Some dirt there as they go under the bridge. Race leader coming into Spoon for the final time. The gap is 3 seconds ahead of Bran. F3 I think is safe barring a mistake. This Iceman's probably going to be watching his mirrors more than watching going ahead of him. Within 4/10 of a second of him. He's going to get a run up here into 130R. Into the chicane's probably going to be his last chance as Danny comes through the chicane for the final time. He will win on the track. What will the penalty situation do though? Danny crosses the line in first. Bran P2. Danny wins for the second week in a row. And is the first repeat winner. F3 comes home P3. Iceman P4. City Posh 5. And Panda 6th. Hijack to 7th. Nexus Aspect recovers to P8. Where he started. TNR P9. T Smith and Pagani swapping places at 130R. Can T Smith hold on for the final point? He does indeed. Oh, Pagani jumps him and TNR on penalties. In fact, Connor also jumps T Smith. He finishes down in P12 ahead of Coandy.
Connor very nearly nicked that last point.
85 thousandths of a second, look at that. So despite that lap 1 accident, Connor recovers to P11. Brutus comes home P14 after that fantastic job of creating a battle. We've got IRL Neon reversing over the line. He's had a moment on the bump. Lennon having just picked up the fastest lap on a rare outing for one of our reserves. Comes out of the final corner. Crosses the line for P16 and Nexus Cats, a very quiet and lonely race. He'll come home, the final finisher in 17th. So there we have it, a all-action race at Suzuka, and we have a first repeat winner of the season in FTRL Danny, with Bran and F3, our other 2 winners so far this season, finishing off the podium finishers. So we'll wait for the podium celebrations to finish and we will get in Bran and Felix. Hopefully Danny can join us this week. Hopefully his parents are already in bed. So there we have it then. FTRL Danny is your race winner with Bran Glover in P2. F3 comes home in P3. Next Iceman finishes in P4 ahead of City Posh. Great effort from him. Panda finishing in P6 where he started. Hijacked up from P12 into P7 ahead of Aspect who finished where he starts. Pagani up 9 places. Started 18th, finishes in the points in 9th, and ZE3 takes the final points position. 12 seconds of penalties though. I say Connor just 85 thousandths of a second shy, stealing that point away in P11. T Smith comes in P12 ahead of Coandy Brutus. IRL Neon, so unlucky there to get wing damage under the virtual safety car. Lennon and NX's Cats rounds off the finishers. The 2 retirements, FTRL Cat and Matt Cause. So we'll just wait then for some of the podium finishers to join us. So yeah, that was a pretty dull race, wasn't it, Si?
Oh, I'm bored to tears, mate.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Can we up the action tomorrow, please, Div 2? Because that was a bore fest. Got a cat on my lap and she's fast asleep. Absolutely nothing happened. You've even bored my cat. She gets excited at a piece of string, for God's sake, come on. So we're just waiting for the podium finishers to join us. We'll get their thoughts on what has been an all-action race from Suzuka. FTRL delivering once again. So if you've tuned in to watch, I hope you enjoyed that show, because that was a lot to try and commentate on. So here come the podium finishers. Wait for Bram to join us and then we'll get started. And there he is. Right, so evening gentlemen, and congratulations on a podium finish. Coming to you, Danny, then. That's 2 in a row. Yeah, that looked like it was going really easily for you, and then you decided to pit under the virtual safety car.
Yeah, I don't really know why I did that, to be honest.
Yeah, so did you think you'd possibly thrown away the victory when you got your 5-second penalty, or were you confident that you could catch and pass Brannan? Did you check your MFD to see if he had a penalty or not?
I knew he had a 3-second penalty, but I thought I fully threw it away. But luckily, those softs still had some pace. And then I don't know who it was, but someone nicked the fastest lap on the final lap, and that fully raged me. That did.
It was Lennon, just for instance. So not quite the full house today then, but yeah, it was I'd say your first stint there. Obviously, you managed to eke away a little bit of a gap. Then after your pit stop, you kind of got a bit of clear air, while those behind you just got caught up in traffic. It looked like it was fairly easy up until your decision to do your extra pit stop. You feel comfortable today? I know you in the chat in the Discord in the week you were saying you hated Suzuka, especially Sector 1. But it didn't seem to cause you any problems.
I got really lucky with people getting held up, and I don't know how I did such a good lap in quali. To be honest, I've got very lucky, but yeah, I did much better than I thought I did. Than I thought I would.
Well, that's 2 poles, 2 wins in a row now. Are you looking to make it a hat trick next time out in Spain?
Oh, is it Spain next?
Yeah, it's Spain next.
Oh God, probably not.
I can sense the confidence oozing out of you already. Well, that's 2 in a row now. You're a first repeat winner of season 12, so congratulations on that one. Yeah,
Cheers.
Well done.
So another week and another podium for Bran. P2 tonight, that now I think puts you into the lead of the overall driver standings. You had a bit of a sticky couple of laps after your pit stop. Got stuck in a bit of traffic, but fought your way through it. Couple of close moments in there, though.
Yeah, you could definitely say that. Yeah, I think my driving was a bit scruffy today, to be honest. You know, just little mistakes here and there. And obviously Danny was just too quick today. You know, at some points I was maybe on the matching him just slightly slower. Other points he was just too quick. And yeah, coming through that traffic was hard. Especially Connor. You know, Connor just was in the party with me, said he would have let me through, but he wanted the content for his YouTube channel, so he just tried to kill me instead. And yeah, there's a three wide movement into 130R as well. That was interesting. yeah, and obviously I went into that 2 seconds behind Danny, came out of it 12 seconds behind Danny, so it really didn't help me.
Yeah, but still held on to the P2. You had an interesting battle with Neon in amongst that traffic. Were you able to enjoy that battle, or was the traffic in amongst you take some of the fun out of it?
Well, some of it was fun, yeah. Most of it was fun, but there was little snippets where it was quite scary, and some people maybe wasn't happy with the driving, but the other Merc, for example. But yeah, overall it was fun.
So, as I've touched on, I think you are the championship leader by a point from your fellow podium sitters. Heading into Spain next week, what are your feelings about Spain?
Spain, I don't think I've had a league race there in a while. I can't actually think of the last time I had a league race there in this game. So I usually enjoy Spain, if I can speak, and yeah, hopefully I'll be up there as well. But obviously the usual guys will be there as well, like Danny, etc. So yeah, it's gonna be on.
Well, go into it with an open mind then. Yeah, well done tonight, and good luck next week.
And finally, our P3 finisher this night, F3. Well, congratulations, Phoenix. Another podium to add to the collection this season. Quite a chaotic race for yourself there. It was kind of battles from the word go. Do you want to just talk us through your race from your point of view?
Yeah, I had a pretty poor start. Got caught a bit by surprise by the early lights. They went out pretty quickly. Bran went past me immediately, and then nearly Sondre almost passed me as well. And from then on, it was basically one of the most frustrating races I've ever had, to be honest, because I couldn't really get past anyone who was in front of me. Was stuck behind whoever it was for a minimum of 1 or 2 laps, which cost me a lot of time. I think the pace was there, but obviously my strategy call wasn't the smartest one, pitting so early. You know, I thought last week I made the mistake in Belgium by pitting 1 lap too late. This time I made a mistake by pitting maybe 1 or 2 laps too early, and then obviously got stuck in traffic and basically never had clean air until like the VSC came out and Jared ran into the back of Danny. But yeah, I think the pace was there, but just a lot of bad luck out there today.
Yeah, so after your pit stop, there was a massive train going on. I think it was probably at one point from about 4th position down to 13th going on. What was that like to be a part of, especially when you're in the middle of it?
It was awful, to be honest. You know, I had to be careful because of the cars behind. I couldn't run like non-ERS mode on the straights to be able to use that on the next straight because there was obviously the next car right behind me. Which I had to worry about, but then I eventually got past Jack, and then it was only I think Pagani it was who then pitted, which I didn't expect. So he obviously had slowed down for the pit lane entry, and I then obviously it caught me by surprise, and I had to brake and lost the position immediately again to Jack, which annoyed me quite a lot. But yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. But the train in general was very scary because you always have to be careful to not lose your wing.
Yeah, so it looked quite tense from where you were watching, but yeah, still coming through to P3. Looking ahead to Spain next week then, how do you feel about Barcelona's circuit? One you enjoy, and do you think you'll be fighting for another podium next week?
Yeah, I enjoy Spain. Haven't had a league race in a long time either, but it's been a pretty good season so far with 4 races and 4 podium finishes, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I hope I can continue that streak next week. And obviously Danny's been out of contention today because he's been just way too quick for everyone else. Obviously he made a very good strategy as well, so congrats to him. And Bran managed to get through it as well pretty nicely, but I hope next week it's going to be different, and hopefully that train won't be as long as it was today.
Well, it certainly made for some good viewing, so definitely worth a watch back if you want to see what it was like from the outside. But congratulations on P3 today.
Thank you.
Right, so that wraps up coverage of Div 1 today. Of course, we've got Div 2 tomorrow, so do not forget to come back and join us for that. You'll see myself and Si hoping to replicate some of the action we've seen today. Hopefully it won't be quite so tense as watching a 8 or 9 car train going on, but it definitely made some good viewing. So do join us tomorrow night for that. But for this evening, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow for Div 2. Thank you and good night.